Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal. Today, it's the movie of the week, and it's a 1973 sci-fi spectacular, Westworld. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm going to address the elephant in the room real quick. The HBO series that started in 2015 that changed dramatically after season one. What a great season one that was. It was a very good inheritor and a decompressed form of this amazing movie that I grew up with. But then 2016 happened and it became a ridiculous example of what's gone wrong in modern pop culture storytelling. And that's all I'm going to say about HBO's series Westworld. And I'm going to forget about it now. And it should be forgotten. But this is a 90-minute long, 3-act, solid sci-fi movie. I grew up on this. Basically, great channel on the UHF dial, TV 38, WSBK TV, Boston, had at 8 p.m. on any weeknight, The Movie Loft with Dana Hersey. Dana Hersey was the host of The Movie Loft, and where he would talk about the movie, the stars, the director, the production, and the reception of these movies that he'd be showcasing that night. And Westworld was one of these movies that was on in constant rotation. It starred Richard Benjamin, who was an up-and-coming star at the time, James Brolin, who you will know his son, Josh. They're identical almost. Josh grew up to become his dad in a way. His dad, James Brolin, was a huge actor in the 70s and 80s. He married a lesser-known pop star named Barbra Streisand. They're still married to this day. So Babs is Thanos' stepmom. That's a good one. But Westworld, for its time, was a really interesting spin on, say, something like Disney. It was back then, it was $1,000 a day extravaganza where you can go to these three worlds: Western world, Roman world, or medieval world. And there were no rules, that you could live as you wanted to in these periods, with authentic dress and with authentic mores. If you're in Roman world and wanted to check out the orgy, well, guess what? You can. If you're in medieval world and you wanted to joust the Black Knight, you can. And if you're in Westworld and you wanted to duel with the Man in Black, the evil gunslinger, well, yes, you can, because they're all robots. And it's perfectly harmless to humans, except the inciting incident. We don't even know what happened. You don't have to. It's not some kind of grand plan. It wasn't some kind of conspiracy. It wasn't anyone trying to take over the world. It was just a glitch in the programming, that the fail-safes all failed, and it became an abattoir for humanity, and that there was only one survivor by the end, and that was Richard Benjamin's hero, where he had to survive against the Man in Black, where it's great act structure, where in the beginning he was so hesitant to pull his gun and shoot another thing. But by Act 2, he was confident and was taking on the Man in Black with fanning the gun like Clint Eastwood did in the westerns that preceded this. But by the end of Act 2 of our nadir, his best friend, James Brolin, gets killed by the Man in Black in a gun duel. And then he's on the run for the rest of the movie, and getting hunted down by the star of the movie, Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner was a huge huge box office star at this time. He was in The King and I. He was in Taras Bulba, which was with Tony Curtis. Huge movie star. And he was in The Magnificent Seven, a Western that was based on Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai. And this is the titular role, the Man in Black. And he is the antagonist, representing technology and its encroachment in our culture. And it's just and it's a 1973 movie. It's an early sci-fi movie. So this was the best of special effects and in sets and design that was available at the time. This movie, in my humble opinion, holds up very well, and especially as allegory. It's about what happens when technology gets out of human control and when humans become victims to the technology that we were taking advantage of. So it's not about the 1% and an entitled life. That is for the HBO show. And it's not about the consequences of taking advantage of vulnerable people and a servant class such as the robots. That's for the HBO show. Gosh. And it wasn't about these vulnerable types to overcome and become better than their human oppressors. That's for the HBO show. This is just a simple story written and directed by Michael Crichton. He was the writer behind Jurassic Park, and Michael Crichton. It was a big name, and his impact is still felt in sci-fi and fiction today. Because look at Jurassic World and look at Westworld, and but yeah, does this movie hold up? Yes, it's got great 70s special effects. Yes, it's simple. It's a simple story, well told. It speaks for itself, and it contains nuance. We're allowed to suss these things out. You don't have to be hit over the head with checking off boxes and making sure that all the female characters are better than the men, like the HBO show, and that humanity is getting their comeuppance. It's not about that. This is about survival, and this is about overcoming odds. This is about the human having the tables turned, and the human being resourceful enough to overcome those odds and survive. It's a really good movie. I would highly suggest it for anyone. 1973's Westworld. Check it out. And it has for Star Trek fans, it's got a really great cameo that Majel Barrett, Mrs. Gene Roddenberry herself, Nurse Chapel, the voice of the computer in Next Generation, she plays Miss Carey. She's the mistress of the whorehouse. Yeah, check it out. I was like, who is that? Oh, that's Majel Barrett. Awesome. That's a great Easter egg for any Star Trek fan, any sci-fi fan. But yeah, check it out. It's Westworld. It's an old movie, and it really holds up. It's 90 minutes long, 3 acts. I love simple movies. Because it speaks for itself. It allows you to think for yourself. Do you have your own thoughts on Westworld? Well, you know what? Leave it in the comment section. Continue the conversation, please. If you like this kind of content, the movie of the week, leave me a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, give me a thumbs down. Let's see if they still count on YouTube, huh? And give me a subscribe if you can. I like making positive pop culture content. Like today, I go on an occasional rant that's just being balanced. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual man, an amateur theologian, an ordained minister. I make spiritual content such as Reverend Sully's Sunday sermon. I'm also a professional chef. I want to give you restaurant-level quality hacks to make your home cooking delicious, nutritious, and beautiful. So when you share and break bread at the table with your family and loved ones, it's the best that you can have. And these moments that we have breaking bread together, we're never going to get back. So to break bread with your loved ones, don't take it for granted. It's truly a blessing, because eating alone is eating alone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today to Reverend Sully's Movie of the Week. Next week, I think we're going to do Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. It's a great sci-fi movie. It introduced me to Emily Blunt, and it took me by surprise. I enjoy the heck out of that. So that's coming next week. So thank you for tuning in, and give me a subscribe if you like. Thank you so much. Cheers.